Shop vacuums are capable tools for cleaning up messes and collecting dust and chips from benchtop tools. I know when I started out in woodworking, I used shop vacs for everything. That often meant lugging one all over the garage, which was a pain, and so I ended up rarely turning it on, and so I had a mess. My solution was just to get more shop vacs. I'd buy them at yard sales, day after Thanksgiving sales, wherever they were cheap, and I'd put them at different locations where they'd be closer to the task that I might be doing. And that helped, but it took up space. So I came up with this idea, a homemade manifold that tripled the usefulness of just one vacuum. The concept is simple. It splits one hose into three so you can have suction ready to go in multiple places. I originally ran one line to a miter saw, another to a benchtop sander, and a third right to the benchtop itself for cleaning up messes and so forth. But it's not just a three-way splitter. It's designed with blast gates so you can turn the suction on each line on and off individually. And there's a chamber inside that prevents clogs. But if something does get caught in a line, it's also designed to pop right open with no tools for easy cleaning. I was thinking I could sell plans for this, but you folks have been pretty good to me over the years. So I'm just going to show you how to make it for free right now. You're going to start with three 12-inch long pieces of 2x4 material. I trimmed the rounded over edges off mine, so the final width is 3¼ inches. The outer diameter of most shop vacuum hose fittings is 2¼ inches. Now I happen to have a Forstner bit that is just that size, so that's what I use to bore 3 holes all the way through. A hole saw would work for this as well. I think 2¼ is a standard size for door installation. Here's how the holes were laid out. Now what if you don't have a Forstner bit or a hole saw that's going to fit your shop vacuum hose end? Just use the largest bit you own, and then you can enlarge the holes with a router. Here I've made a template by rough cutting the hole with a jigsaw and then refining it with a rasp and some sandpaper so I have one hole that fits the hose end just right. The template's then centered over the smaller hole that I cut in the actual workpiece. Notice how a fence was attached to the template to align it while securing everything in a vise. You could simplify this by just using double-sided tape to stick your template on top if you prefer. Now a template bit's installed in the router. This features a bearing above the bit. Most sets have these. The bearing rides on the inside of the hole in the template, which cuts the hole in the workpiece beneath to that same larger size. Since the template bit I had wasn't long enough to cut all the way through my 2x4 workpiece in a single pass, I removed the template, and then the freshly enlarged upper portion of the hole served as its own template, so the bearing could ride on its inner edge and enlarge the lower portion. It'll take some time to repeat this on each of the required holes if you don't want to invest in a bit or a hole saw that fits the diameter of your shop vac's hose end, but it'll get the job done. Ultimately, you're going to need a total of 3 pieces, identical in size, but 2 of them will have 3 holes, and the third piece has a single hole right in the center. Here, some 1/2-inch wide strips are just temporarily tacked around the perimeter of the single-holed workpiece. The same template bit is now used to dish out the surface. Its bearing is riding on those strips and creating a rim. Again, my bit's cutting length was relatively short, so the strips are removed and a second pass is made to deepen the recess. This time, the newly created rim is serving in the place of the template so that it can guide the bit. My final depth was 7/8 of an inch. Now, if you don't have a template router bit, you could freehand this recess with a regular straight bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's hidden inside the manifold and it's seldom going to be seen. But I do recommend working up to the full depth in several passes. I wouldn't try to cut 7/8 of an inch all at once. It's hard on your bit and your router. You could also create the dish in 2 layers, gluing some strips of wood to a thinner 3/4 inch thick workpiece rather than a full thickness 1.5-inch workpiece. I don't like that method as well because it creates many more seams that could potentially leak air unless they're all sealed with silicone. And that dished out area will end up being shallower by about 1/8 of an inch because of the thickness of the material, and that'll reduce the room inside the manifold where the dust flows and maybe lead to more clogs. I don't know. Whatever method you use, you'll want to repeat it on one of the 3-holed workpieces too. So this is going to give you two dished out pieces, one with 3 holes and another with just 1 hole. That leaves you with a single remaining 3-holed workpiece. On this, you'll attach some pieces of thin material. I used 1/8-inch hardboard, or MDF, something that was smooth on both sides. But you could use 1/4-inch material if that's what you have on hand. Here are the dimensions and placement of those strips. Make sure there's no gaps between them, and use glue, not just nails. Now, cut some rectangles from the same material to fit between the strips you just mounted. These are the blast gates. You can refer to the dimensions here as a guide, but you might have to make some small adjustments to their width so they fit well, yet slide in and out easily. Each one may have to be custom fit to its spot. Some sandpaper is ideal for that fine tuning. Next, set the other 3-holed workpiece on top, dish side up, with a thin strip sandwiched between them. The brads temporarily hold things together while you drill pilot holes and then use screws to make it more permanent. Don't over tighten your screws. You want your blast gates to slide in and out of the slots easily. If the fit is too tight after installing the screws, back them off a tiny bit. I also added some more screws to the ends to hold it more securely. Now some 1/4-inch strips, which were just ripped from the edge of a more 2x4 material, are glued around to the outer perimeter of the single-holed workpiece. Here are those dimensions. Note how they're offset 3/4 of an inch from the bottom undished side. This produces a stepped rim around the dished side, as seen here. Some adhesive-backed foam weather stripping is added to the inner rim to create a seal. The upper portion of the manifold then sits in this recess, dish side down. During use, when the shop vac is on, the suction holds these two pieces together and the weather stripping prevents air leaks. But when the vacuum's off, the manifold can just pop right open so you can clear any clogs. The whole thing can be mounted to a workbench with screws or to a wall. The screws go through the inner rim. Just make sure the heads are countersunk so they sit below the surface. And that is all there is to it. It's an extremely useful project that costs very little to build and will serve you well for many years. Want to see something else that'll serve you well? I love clever ideas that don't cost much money, and this little guy is definitely one of those little gems I wish I'd found years ago. The sanded is simple, but it's not just a flat sanding block. Each side features a different contour, from square to concave to convex. There's a shape for just about any cove or molding. It really makes otherwise tough sanding jobs a lot easier. It works with any grit, and you don't have to buy special sandpaper. Just use a 1/4 sheet of the regular stuff you already have. What can I say? It only costs a few bucks, and it's a big help in a lot of situations. Grab one now, and you'll be glad you have it when the time comes. I'll put a link below.